People can't afford cars, trucks, or SUVs anymore. They're electing to take some serious and drastic measures. Welcome back, my savory seeds of sunshine. Today, I want to identify that the cost of living crisis is real and people are now starting to respond and taking some more aggressive action. I was walking down a Chevy car lot recently and I saw some of the exorbitant prices. Basic spec in a Yukon, as you'll notice, it has some nice detail on the front end, but it does have more of the highway rubber in here, a very basic spec here. And yes, lots of room here for the family and friends, and you can tow a lot of weight around here. This is all that Chevy's offering are SUVs and pickup trucks. As we look around here, let's take a quick look at the sticker. How much is this vehicle retailing for? Well, let's take a look. We have a 24 Tahoe 1FL, four-wheel drive, beautiful little rig, very simple spec. Yeah, it's just fabric seats in there, pretty simple vehicle, but they're looking for $73,800. And it really is cost prohibitive. The cost of new vehicles is going up. Look at GM. Nice little GMC, and this is an Elevation edition, has the 5.3 liter V8 engine. This is basically a lower level truck. I look inside, yeah, it has cloth seats. There's no sunroof up there. It's a very basic looking rig. It's a pretty truck, but no less. Even with 4x4, it's just not worth the money they're asking. Why? Well, because I'm looking in here and check the sticker. This is a 24 Sierra 1500 Crew, four-wheel drive, and they're actually asking $72,000, 224. $72,000 for a base pickup truck. And even Ram trucks have been escalating their prices through the roof, as well as Jeeps. Take a look at some of these aggressive prices. Rebel, it has all the great pipes, look nicely painted like that, detail. Very nice truck. You got the all-terrain rubber on here. Not an inexpensive pickup truck by any means. Here we also have the sunroof up top, but things get better. Look, there's no shortages of trucks, and these lots are literally overflowing to the brim. They're not selling, right? There's an example of a $100,000 Dodge Ram or Ram pickup truck. And I also had a look at Ford. When you're talking a Platinum F-150 is going for an absolute obscene amount of money. Well, here's a pretty little truck over here. How much is this little unit? It has a beautiful new revised grille. Look at this. I love the new decal here by Ford. Look at the headlights, quite nice. But I think all these extras are going to cost money. Yeah, it's revised. They have new style lights there, of course, different handles. I noticed the truck has leather interior. It's a gorgeous unit all the way around. It's a pretty vehicle, but this is an FX4 off-road. And how much is this unit? Well, according to the sticker, $105,000, 450 right there. Wow, holy, what is this? Well, we're looking at an F-150 Platinum. Not to mention the Shelby F-150 that's going to up around $190,000. And beautiful trucks like this, we have the Shelby F-150 in all its glory, the big, beautiful front end. It has a unique grille on here as well, and big racing stripes, big oversized tires, of course, upgraded suspension. This is the F-150 off-road Super Snake. So we're seeing the rising increase in the MSRPs, price tags of these vehicles. Cars, trucks, SUVs are going through the roof. Doesn't matter whether you're buying a base Toyota Corolla, which now has seen increases, or a RAV4 Prime, that it's going to cost you $65,000. That's absolutely ludicrous. We're now in a place where people's backs are finally broken. Then amidst the actual cost of living, you can elect whether you want to buy a new vehicle or not, or maybe patch up your old vehicle, which is what I'm doing, my 2003 Ram. Well, it looks like I'm going to be driving my old 2003 Ram for a while yet. Prices keep going up for trucks, but there's other more aggressive measures that people are taking. They're not only deciding, I don't need a new car, I don't need that new truck or SUV, but I still have to eat and I still have to live. And how do I get to work? If I'm working, I need to pay for those goods. I need to feed the kids. I need to feed myself. We need a roof over our head, but we know the rising cost of rent and mortgages, and the cost of living is definitely rising, largely because the pricing of the housing market is absolutely going through the roof. But on top of that, people are trying to eat. Now they're having to make a decision. Do I eat? Do I feed the kids, or do I make that big car payment? Well, maybe we can toss the big car payment. But unfortunately, there's still other decisions that buyers are making. Maybe they're not buying a new car. Maybe they're not leasing a new car. Maybe they're fixing what they've got, but it still costs insurance and gas. People are taking much more aggressive tactics. I know myself personally, my wife, my daughter, they actually carpool. So the decision out of flexibility of cost and keeping the finances at bay is, Even if we can save a little bit of money on the finances due to gas consumption, let's just ride together. Of course, even driving a car for a little bit longer with a set of tires that aren't necessarily optimal definitely is the decision a lot of people are making. Maybe some people are skipping on maintenance. Well, okay, oil changes are important, but do you need to do that brake flush? Those are decisions. We're not here to talk about the right and wrong of proper maintenance of your vehicle, but I know firsthand people are making those decisions to skip on that air filter change, to skip on that brake fluid flush, to absolutely skip on a lot of the maintenance. People are all carpooling, taking the bus, the transit, and there's this perception as well that electric vehicles are going to save not only the planet, but they're going to potentially save you a lot of money in gas. What they don't realize, the people on knee-jerk response to buy an electric vehicle, is that they're going to be faced with a much, much higher increased insurance rates. So while they're saving on the gas side, they're paying it back in insurance because of expensive repairs, maintenance, tires are much higher priced, and of course insurance companies are getting on the wagon. They realize that a claim can often write off a vehicle. Now, a survey of about 2,000 drivers done by Close Brothers Motor Finance actually exposes some real facts, and I want to share some of those numbers about what many motorists are deciding to do. To buy new, used, carpool, and all of the things I just mentioned, people are making some hard decisions. About 71% of those folks decided that they're often shopping around for the best fuel. Whether you're looking for Gas Buddy or looking for applications that are going to potentially drive you to a much lower gas rate, or definitely even it means driving an extra 5 minutes if you got to fill up your tank because you might save 10 cents a liter or 50 cents a gallon. It might be worth your time, and people are doing those checks. It's no longer as the day of just driving down to your 7-Eleven because it's only 30 seconds away and I'm going to gas up there. Often a lot of these convenience stores charge you for definitely if you want to get your loaf of bread, if you want to get a jug of milk, or if you want to fill up your tank. All those conveniences come at a cost, and usually those neighborhood gas stations rarely will ever give you the best deal in town. So people are making a decision to drive for the best deals, to fill up their tank, and look for cost-saving measures by reducing the sheer cost of that consumption. And in the same poll, about 63% of those actually responded that they were probably planning on cutting down their drive, or they already have cut down their drives. If they can carpool, they will, as we do. It's a great opportunity to save some money. Put 2 or 3 or 4 people in the same vehicle going in the same direction, and if everybody throws in a few bucks, it can save a lot of money in the long haul. Especially when you look at, say, in a year or 2 years, you can save a lot of cash. Especially when you think about average fuel consumption can cost the average driver anywhere from $2,000, $3,000, $5,000 or $6,000 a year if you're driving a vehicle that might be more economical or a gas guzzler. People I know that have made decisions, I'm not going to go for that Saturday night cruise anymore. You know what? Maybe we won't go for that just frivolous drive around town with the music blaring and just go for that endless drive with nowhere to go, listening to music, looking for basic entertainment on a Saturday night. I used to love doing that, and I used to thrive and look forward to doing that. But now people are making that choice to, you know what, maybe I'll just sit at home. Maybe I'll grab a bicycle and go for a ride, or maybe I'll just go for a walk. Because even that drive around town might cost you half a tank of fuel, which can transfer over to $50 for a night out. And if you do that every week, now all of a sudden that's $200 a month or $2,400 a year. You see how the math starts adding up? That's a trip to Mexico or Vegas for a great weekend for a pair of you. So people are making a decision. Maybe I don't need that frivolous drive. Maybe I can carpool or just take it easy. And according to this poll, about 43% are actually starting to take public transit, whether it's LRT, subway, or even possibly a public bus. Of course, at your own discretion and at your own risk. Because a lot of people are, well, on one hand, it's convenient, it's more cost effective. On the other hand, that's where some of the society hang out. And often there's been many cases of people attacked, rolled, or hurt or beat into oblivion just by riding the LRT on off hours. So clearly there's still a little bit of a reluctance to ride the public transit. And if it weren't for some of those safety and security issues, I guarantee you there would be much more. As a matter of fact, even 22% of people actually verified that, yeah, they're going to step into an electric vehicle, because the cost of their vehicle that they're driving today, maybe it's a full-size Ram, a full-size Chevy truck, even if I buy a small EV, it might offset the fuel costs. I mean, if you're spending, $100, $200 a week, even a full-size 3/4 ton gas truck can cost you a couple $100 a week. That's $800 a month. Now that goes towards a car payment. You think about a lease payment on a new base Tesla, it starts to add up for some people, and they'll say, I'll park the truck, I'll use it 3 times a year to tow the boat, but otherwise I just need a cheap runabout to get me from work and back. And 22% of people are actually saying or quantifying the fact that, you know what, I'm probably going to drive an electric vehicle sometime soon. And even as many as 37%, that's over a third of the people that were looking for a vehicle to replace what they have today, have second guessed it, second doubted it, and decided, you know what, they're going to hold off. They're not going to buy that vehicle. They're going to delay it, defer it, push it off. Have a quick look. I mean, I was walking the lot here. Look at a modern day Jeep Wrangler, for example, which is the blue collar, middle of the road, bargain basement vehicle that we once loved back in the 80s and 90s. Look how expensive those are today. There's no shortage of Jeeps. Look, even this, for example, we have a 4xe. That's a great looking unit. And obviously it's a Wrangler Rubicon X 4xe, and wow, $86,000. That's clearly the prices are way too high. There's an elephant in the room, and we'll discuss that in a second. But here we see all these Jeeps. We've got Willys, we've got Wranglers of all shapes and sizes, a Sahara here with a beautiful top, all kinds of Jeeps to suit your needs. And obviously over here we have this beautiful Rubicon. Here's another one. This is a 4x4. What a beautiful looking rig, and we're talking $64,000 for that. How about over here? Here's a Sport. This is more of a base model. This clearly has plastic, simple, basic, no running gear. It's basically, yeah, it does have a hard top on here, but it's a very simple unit. And clearly it's a Sport, Wrangler 4-door Sport S 4x4. Wow, $67,000. Not a cheap vehicle. So when you have Jeeps, trucks, cars, SUVs that cost as much as these vehicles do, a lot of people are just deciding, you know, I don't need that $1,500 a month payment. I don't need to spend $1,800. I don't even need to spend $1,000, because we realize that over 10% now of car loans are exceeding $1,000 a month. That's right. Way too many people are spending over $1,000, which is essentially a mortgage payment for many other people. And a lot are deciding, you know, I don't need it that bad. I'll fix what I've got. And almost 25% of drivers who have had a second, third vehicle in their fleet have decided to, you know what, maybe I'm going to sell that, liquidate. I could use the extra cash. I don't need to pay the extra insurance. And with it sitting there, I might be inclined to take it for a drive just for no real reason. Maybe it's a toy, maybe it's that Corvette, whatever. A lot of people are deciding to get rid of that second or third vehicle if they're not using it. And often people are just deciding, you know what, maybe one family car is all we need. That was sort of more traditional thinking many years ago. And then we expanded to a place where everybody needed their own car for their own independence, for their own expression of their personality. But now we're getting back to where many people are deciding to sell that extra vehicle. And would you also believe that about 20% of the population are looking at using their vehicle for some other reason? I mean, you look at Skip the Dish. People are often using their vehicles for that, and they're doing that on the evening to help pay or subsidize their cost of their vehicle. Or often Turo. People put their vehicle rented out on Turo, so you know some of that cost can obviously offset the cost of living. So people are using their vehicle for car sharing or rent it out or some other means to try to compensate and grab some of that funds back. As well, on top of that, about a third of the population or the people reported that they were considering going to a much more fuel efficient vehicle. Those may be driving a half-ton pickup truck, or now maybe parking the truck, selling it, or possibly buying a smaller car, like a smaller hybrid vehicle. Even the hybrid Maverick by Ford has been a very popular piece because people don't have the money for new F-150, but they also know the expensive fuel and insurance comes with that. So they're deciding, you know what, maybe a Maverick cuts the bill for me. So many people are making a big decision and responding accordingly to this cost of living crisis. And if you want to learn more about how buyers are getting screwed by these expensive trucks, you know, I talk about it right there. I'm going to share the whole storyline with you. You're definitely going to want to see that if you're worried about the cost of living. Hope to see each and every one of you on the next one. We'll see you real soon. Bye-bye.